Thanks for having me. I'm Tom. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Tribe XR. So I'd like to think back to your childhood. Many of you have had dreams to be maybe a movie producer, filmmaker. You probably had dreams of being a DJ. And it's these sort of dreams that we at Tribe try to enable people to create. So we're harnessing VR and AR to enable people to learn the skills that they've always wanted to do. So we have a active focus on creative skills. So we built Tribe to help people learn practical skills more easily from their own home. We're democratizing access to this type of training by creating a collaborative studio where you can connect a student and a tutor together without the need to travel. And we can make that learning interactive. So we actually have a demo outside. So I'd ask if you're interested in seeing this, you can go and try this afterwards. And I'm just going to show you a short video of how this works. Perfect.
And hello, Matteo. Hello. I'd love to show you how to do a DJ move called the bass mix. It's one of the foundational maneuvers that DJs do. Are you ready to learn?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let's start by opening the crate. Go ahead and click on the crate. Open up your tracks.
So in this scenario, the student was in Canada, in Montreal, and the teacher's in San Francisco.
Put it on deck 1.
Yes.
Cool. Next, you can grab the grizzly bear. That's this guy here.
Yes.
Put that on deck 2 over there. Cool. Okay, so we're going to mix from this track to this track. And before we do the mix, we have to set up our mixer.
You can see here the other kind of element that we have is a sort of laser pointer, which works really, really well in a 3D space.
Cool. And then let's also arrange our EQs. These are the EQs for the tracks. This is the high, mids, and lows.
So I'm going to jump ahead because I've only got about 7 minutes left. So we're 3 co-founders who came together to solve this problem. We're based in the Bay Area. Ozan on the right used to work for Pixar. This is my 4th startup. Kevin was one of the founding team at what became Rocket. And collectively, we realized that we could harness our experience in VR and AR to use these immersive technologies to solve the problem of access. Now, we picked DJing as a first use case because, number one, it was something that we'd always wanted to do but hadn't got into for reasons of it being expensive, complicated, and sort of inaccessible. One of the things we didn't want to do was go to DJ school in our late 30s. Doing that at home in your own room is better for that. But more importantly, Pro Kit on the left costs about $6,000. Most people don't have $6,000 to spend on this type of equipment. The virtual version, once you've got your VR or AR headset, costs almost nothing. And not only that, but within 30 seconds of starting Tribe, you are learning on this professional equipment that most people don't have access to. And within hours, you can actually perform. So we have integrations with Twitch and Facebook Live and VR chat and other platforms. So it means that what's interesting is you have a headset to create or to learn, but your audience can be outside of VR or AR in the wider world. So we've got an example here. This is people now run radio shows through Tribe. It is live. It is working. We have people getting 200, 300, 400 concurrent listeners every week. We had a mum in Columbus, Ohio, who's never actually touched DJ decks before, and she did a mix, and it got picked up by one of the big Facebook groups, and she ended up playing to 10,000 people, which we thought was kind of fun. We've created a framework, if you're wondering the connection between this method of training and music. We call it Educate, Demonstrate, Mimic, or EDM. And it's a process that's derived from military training techniques for practical gun skills and similar. And like I said, you can go and try this process out next door. It's up to twice as effective as online video. There's been lots of studies done as to the effectiveness, giving different results for different types of application. But it's, generally speaking, much more effective to learn by doing than by watching. And what we've seen with our products is we're seeing a lot of traction. So we launched mid last year. Our users use the product for about 2.5 hours a week. We get a very high net promoter score. But yeah, the most important thing that we're seeing is that people are using this in a long-form setting. So people think of VR and AR as being like 5-minute, 10-minute experiences. That's not what we're seeing. We're seeing people stay in VR for 2.5 hours, often in one session. And that's because we're not making people move around a lot. It's reasonably static, and you interact with the area in front of you. and also being music, it's a very sort of deep thing. You get into it and you get kind of sucked in. The most requested product feature in Tribe is a clock because people were getting carried away. So where are we in the market? So one of the biggest things that we see coming up at the moment is we build for Oculus Rift. There aren't that many Rifts in the world, maybe 1 million that are active. The VR market has followed this sort of classic hype cycle curve. We see mid next year, there's going to be a changing, a sort of beginning of the next wave of momentum with the release of Oculus Quest. That's a $399 headset. Why is this important in an AR conference? Because it's a hybrid headset. So we have one here if you want to try it. It has pass-through cameras. We work, and we know the Magic Leap team, we think that Quest is going to become a competitor to Magic Leap because it has pass-through cameras, it has that capability, it's 6 degrees of freedom, and it's going to be $400, and it's a standalone headset. So this is where we see the market starting to kind of gather pace again. We work with a bunch of different partners to kind of enable these experiences, and in the broader context of what we do, we started with DJing because we wanted to pick something that we're passionate about, nail it, and then scale it out. We see the methods that we apply as being applicable across multiple different use cases. So our next use case is going to be adjacent within music, but we see this as applicable also obviously within enterprise kind of scenarios. One of the interesting things that we found within music is that some of our partners are actually the hardware manufacturers. So in some ways that seems kind of perverse because this could cannibalize their industries to some degree, but actually they see this as actually opening up an audience to sort of train them on their own equipment. And so when we train them, they're actually ready for the real world. So if anything, it's creating more pre-qualified people to go out and then purchase that equipment. This is a huge market. I think I'm preaching to the converted here, but by one estimation, training is going to be somewhat in the region of $30 billion by 2025, immersive training that is. That's about 1/10 of the broader online training market. So just a quick summary, and then I'll wrap up. So this just gives you a little sort of quick overview of what we do. So now a quick test to make sure you got all of that. So basically, but you can see from there we've created a essentially virtual replica of a complex system that can be taught more simply in VR and AR. We're creating a framework to teach. It's a huge market. We've got an experienced team to do it. We'd love you to try a product. So please come and try it next door. Thank you very much.